So in this today's session, we are going to discuss about of the another master data previously, which we have discussed about of the what is the client's organization structure. That means what would be the client's enterprise structure, which we have done, and as well as material master data, which we have done. And now we are going to discuss about of the vendor master data. So in generally, all the vendors which we can call as an creditors, which we can call them as an creditors. Who will be the creditor in the sense of who is the person will be giving the credit to us. That means whoever the person will be there or the client will be there, they are providing us as a credit. That's why we are calling them as an creditors. So for creation of these of the creditors or the vendors, what we have to do. In other words, the concept which we will be calling as an accounts payables. Which we will be calling as an accounts payables. Accounts payables is nothing but like an vendors. So from the SAP side, when we want to creation of a vendor master, there should be some prerequisites are there. Under that, totally 4 prerequisites will be there. The first one, which we can call as an define. The first one will be the define vendor account group with screen layout. Define vendor account group with screen layout. And the second one, create number ranges for vendor account groups. Create number ranges for the vendor account groups. And the last one and the third one, which we can call as a name, assign number ranges for vendor account. So these are the 3 requirements will be there for creation of a vendor master. Including with this 3, we are having one more also, that is a partner relationship. So basically, initially, first of all, we need this one. So under this, what is the first one? Define vendor account group with screen layout. Let's see. The first step, define vendor account group with screen layout. What exactly it means in the sense of, if the client is asking to maintain their vendor masters by this AP, but what they are saying that the client is asking to maintain their vendors into separate parts. That means simply we can call this what is a vendor account group in the sense of, as per the client's requirements, we need to divide all the vendor masters into different parts. Is called as account groups. And also we need to maintain which of the fields are required, and which of the fields are not required, One creation of a vendor master. Simply we can say that what is an account group in the sense of nothing but a separation of the vendor masters into separate parts. And what do you mean by the layout in the sense of which of the fields are required and which of the fields are not required. By defaultly, the SAP people has been already divided maintained all the database for the vendor master. That's the database which we can maintain, or which already maintained for the vendor master is LFA1 or else LFM1. That means if you want to see the vendors list or vendor masters database table, you just go for the SC11 You need to go for the SC11. Under that SC11, under that SC11, let's have a look of the LFA1. LFA1, and now check it at display. All the fields are there for creation of a vendor master. This is the web database. That means for creation of a vendor master, all these of the fields will be there. But what the client is saying that which of the fields are required and which of the fields are not required for that particular account group of the vendor. For creation of a vendor master under this group, which of the fields are required and which of the fields are not required. We need to maintain those of the things by using the account group with screen layout. That's the first one. That means when you are facing off an interview, also the interview is asking that, okay, Mr. Prashant, can you tell me that what do you mean by the defined vendor account group with screen layout? Then we need to say that we need to divide all the vendor masters into separate parts. It's called as a vendor account group. And also we need to maintain that which of the fields are required and which of the fields are not required for that creation of a vendor. It's called as a screen layout. So as like as in the same way, for creation of this vendor account group, the menu path will be the SPRO, SAP reference IMG, and then financial accounting, and then accounts, receivables and payables. Under that, vendor accounts, master data, preparations for creating vendor master data. Under that, the three things will become. The first one, define vendor account group with screen layout. Define vendor account group with screen layout. Define vendor account group with screen layout. And the second one is create number ranges for vendor account groups. Create number ranges for vendor account groups. Create number ranges for vendor account groups. And the last one, assign number ranges to the vendor account groups. Assign number ranges for the vendor account. For these three, first one, OBD3, and the second one, XKN1, and the last one, OBAS. These are the three requirements will be there. So initially we can start up with this SPRO, SAP reference IMG, financial accounting, accounts receivables and payables, and then vendor accounts, master data, preparations for creating vendor master data, that define account group with screen layout. Define account group with screen layout. And if you can go for this, it's asking about of the different account groups. So which we said that dividing of a large number of the vendor masters into one part. That's why I'm going for the new entries. If I can go for the new entries, it is asking about what is the account group. The R-ish, you can give anything. So which I am giving here as a man R. Which I am giving that mankind formas raw material suppliers. That means as per the client requirement, I am dividing all the vendor masters into the one part. That first part which I am calling that as a raw material suppliers, which I am taking as a, this is in a one book. Under this book, I am in require the raw material suppliers. Okay, fine. And when you can observe here, it will be shows that three field groups. One is the general data, and second one is the company code data, and the third one is the purchasing data. First of all, double click on the general data. Right? When we are going for the general data, that means when creation of under this book of the MANR, we can have the one sub area which is called as a general data. Under that general data we can have the address. Okay, double click on address. If we can go for, there was a lot of the fields will be showing for the address here. So under this address screen, what are the fields which you require? See, there was a lot of the fields will be there. That means as from the SAP requirement, they decided that for creation of vendor master, these of the fields can be there. All of the fields can be there, but your client is asking which of the fields. Even if your client is don't want to maintain that field, I don't want. The client is saying that I'm not in required that field. Just make it as an name. Suppress. Suppress is nothing but like a hiding of a field. Even in the same situation, they're asking about of the required. That means the field should be there for me. It should be the mandatory. Then we can maintain it as a required. Other else, suppress and required. And the third option will be the optional. So what exactly by the optional in the sense of it can be called as an either. Either if you want, you can. Otherwise, we can't. You want the field, we can make it as an entry of the fields. If you don't want, we can leave that as a blank. And the fourth option is called as a display. So here I am saying that name is required, and postal code city is required, street is required, district is required, and region is required, and as well as I don't want all these fields. Let's make it suppress. Even if it is there, I can use it, make it optional. The field has to be shown, but I don't want to use. Let's make it a display. As whatever the fields will be there, we can make the required of those fields as per the client requirement. And after that, now we are in the MANR of the raw material suppliers in the general data. Now let us go for the next friendship plus F6. Next group. First, we have maintained the clients of the, that means our vendors of the general data of address. Now we have to go for the communication. That means whenever that vendor is there, what is the contact details we need to maintain from that? So I am maintaining all as a required field. All are required fields. And when I am going to the next again, control. See, basically it is not used in at present, but it will be useful. So when it will be using of the situation it is, if the customer and the vendor both can be equal. See, what I am saying that both can be equal, but not should be. Why? Because in sometimes for who is the supplier will be there for us, maybe they can convert as a vendor also, customer also. That means which I am in require some X material. Okay, I have taken from the vendor, as well as he is requiring some Y material. He is requiring some Y material that will be available from my side. That means one vendor can be acts as a creditor as well as the debtor also. In this situation only we are using the control scheme. That's why what I am doing, that I am not maintaining anything, I am putting into the optional. That means when that situation will be generated, if the client is asking about that requirement, then we can use it. Otherwise leave it. That's why I am putting into the optional. And the next one is the payment transaction. Next one will be the payment transaction. So what was the purpose of the payment transaction? Nothing is. Now, what was the purpose of the payment transactions in the sense of, if the vendor is there, when during of the purchases from the vendor, whatever the payments which we have to make for the vendor, if we are giving the same terms and conditions from the vendor, or else if the vendor is providing the same terms and conditions within the 30 days of the 10% of the discount, within the 20 days of the something, and as well as including of the payment terms, if it is the bank details also, whenever we have made a purchase, by this bank only we need to pay. So at any time of the situation, if we can face those type of the requirement will be there, we can give it. But we can't say that every time when during of the purchases, the same thing will be available. That's why I'm making as an optional for this one. And the next, contact person. Okay then, the vendor name is some XYZ group of the companies. He's a vendor. But who is the contact person there under the XYZ group of the companies? So automatically That should be the required. And as well as we can observe here, till now I am coming from forward to backward, forward. But when I am coming to the contact person, there is no forward will be there. That means simply we can say that it has been done. It has been completed. From there onwards, it was not able to process. From there onwards, it was not able to process. That means there is no more screens will be there. From there onwards, there is no more screens will be there. That's why simply it will be showing that backward only. There is no forward will be there. Now you can come down back 2 steps, back 2 steps. Now it is asking the things of the general data was done. Now it will be showing the something what it is company code data. So do you want to maintain any company code data? If you can maintain how it was. Actually this company code data can be handled by the financials people, but we can maintain this one also. And the company code data for the account management, I am in required the reconciliation account, cash management group, and as well as the sort. This is required for me. And if you can go for the following next, terms of payment is required for us. And the next, correspondence is not required. Taxes, withholding is not required till now. We come back. The general data and the company code data was done. And now we need to go for the purchasing data. This was the mandatory for us. So when during of the purchases from that vendor master, from that vendor master, what would be the required fields? There we can go for the purchasing data. So I am in required the purchase order currency. I need the terms of payment. What is the terms and conditions which we are discussing from the vendor? And what will be the input terms? That means when during of the purchases from the stocks, with the stocks, I am in required the freight fee should be there, or insured freight fee will be there. As like as whatever the things will be there, what is those requirements will be there, we can. And as well as minimum order value. That means if the client has been given the minimum this much of the order values has to be, that means whenever we are making the purchases, these thing of the order value should be there. Then we can make it as a minimum order value. If you want, you can put it, otherwise make it optional. Not a problem. And if we can go for next one, business partner assignment, this should be the mandatory. This is another important concept will be there for the in the accounts payables, and I am making that as a required for us, and from there, next, where is the plan? It was required for us, and if you can see that there is no further will be there. That's why I am just making as a same. I am making it a same. That means till now we have done the vendor account group with screen layout. That means whoever the fields will be required, and as well as when creation of the vendor master, whatever the fields will be required and whatever the fields are not required in the point of 3 basis. That means in the financial point of
So what is the business, sir?
Business area account assignment, na? Business partner assignment.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I will let you explain this one. Basically, that was an interesting concept, but that was a little bit critical. It was. I will let you explain something in the board. Let's see. Say for example, I will explain in the sales point of view. You can easily identify that one, right? See,
Yeah.
for example, myself is in a sales point. That means myself is a sales organization, and as well as I am having the one vendor. Sorry, one customer is there. One customer is there. But this customer is having the one of the office. That means the customer is placing the order to the sales point from the Mumbai office. That means the client having one customer, they are placing the order with the sales organization from the Mumbai. Okay, done. And as well as what they are asking that whatever they have placed the order to the sales point from the Mumbai office, what they are saying that stocks has to be delivered. The stocks has to be delivered for the area or the for the office of Hyderabad. That means placing the order from one place and sending the stocks to the another place, and as well as whatever the delivery has been done. For that delivering, whatever the invoice will be there, the invoice has to be go for the Bangalore office, and as well as they need to receive the payments from the Mysore office. That means one business partner, that means one customer master has been divided into the different parts. As like as in the same way, for the customers also, there was a name for the vendors also, there was a multiple of the partner denominations will be there. That means whatever they have divided into the different parts, and those parts can be maintained by through the business partner denomination. Which I said that there was totally 4 requirements are there. See, I have given the D. 4 requirements are there, but we are discussing about of the only 3. That's fourth one is then a business partner. There was a separate procedure will be there. But in general, the concept will be like that. Yeah? That means one business partner can be divided into the multiple of the parts, and that can be maintained and right. And the next requirement, will be the one is the this one, and the second one is the create number ranges for vendor account groups. That means if you are taking the 3 vendor account groups, say for example, one is the raw material suppliers, one is the chemical suppliers, and another one is for the packing material suppliers. Another one is for the packing material. That means in my company, that means in our client company, they are having the 3 different types of the vendor masters. And even the client is asking to maintain that their numbers also should be different. That means first book which we have taken, that is in raw material suppliers. The raw material suppliers can have the totally 500 members of the vendors. And as well as the second one, packing material suppliers. The packing material suppliers will be the totally some 500 members of the vendors. And the chemical suppliers, they can have the totally chemical vendors will be the some 3000 members of the vendors. That means we can't say the word I'm having this much of the vendors, I'm having this much of the vendors. The system has to be assigned the number for each and every vendor, and that purpose, how many of the vendor account groups will be there, we need to create that much of the number ranges. That is called as a creation of a vendor account group. It's the first one, and the second one will be the creation of a number ranges for the vendor account groups. Under this number ranges also, we are having 2 types of the number ranges. One is the internal, and the second one is the external. One is the internal, and the second one is the external. So, what was the difference in between of the internal and external? Let's see. The internal means if you have given the number ranges from 1 to 499, that has been given to the raw material suppliers. Okay, done. Now you are going to create the vendor master. What will happen is the system will automatically propose the first created vendor, number 1, the second created vendor, number 2, and the next created vendor, number 3, and the next created vendor, number 5. As like that, the system will automatically take the vendor number from the given range in a serial order. That's what we are calling as an internal. Otherwise, if the client is asking that, I want to maintain the number range, but not in a sequential. I have given the from 1 to 5. But whenever I am creating the vendor master, the system has to be asked for me which number has to be given for this vendor. Which number has been given to the vendor. That's what we can call as an external. That is called as an external. Like that, which we are having the 2 types of the number ranges. One is the internal, and the second one is the external. Internal in the sense of the system will automatically propose the vendor number from the same range, and the external in the sense of whenever we are going to create the vendor master, we need to propose what is the number we have to propose for the vendor. As like as 2 types of the number ranges will be there. Most of the time, what facing of an interview, the interview will be regularly asking that how many types of the number ranges will be available. There was 2 types of the number ranges will be available. One is the internal, and the second one is the external. What is an internal? We are choosing the internal number range. When creation of a vendor master, the system will automatically propose the vendor numbers from the given range. Even if you want to if you are choosing the external number range, one creation of a vendor master, every time we need to propose the vendor number from the given range. That's what we can call as an external number range. But there was both of the number ranges will be available. One is the internal and the second one is the external. Whatever the client is requiring, we can use the both of the things. And for this, create number ranges for vendor accounts. And the same, and this was the menu path of the XKN1. And the first interval, which is called as an A display, that means whatever the number ranges which were created, that was displaying that number ranges. That was only for the display mode. And the second one, which we can go for the change status. Change status in the sense of whatever the number ranges which has been already created, whatever the availability of the number range, and what is the present number range which is available. That is called as a change status. And the last one is change interval. That means whatever the number ranges which we have created, you want to see that number range, or else you want to change the number range. And even if you want to create the new number range also, we have to go for the same way. We have to go for the same way. Because in the change intervals is all of the number ranges which are already available. Now go for the insert interval and the number. Yeah, which I am taking as an MR and the from number range. And the from number range. Yeah. Which number range is to which? So here we have to go for, I am taking this number range from here to 4009999 something. It is an internal number range. Even if we want to maintain any number range which is called as an external, that means any external number range which we can require, that we will go for the EXT. That means if we maintain the checkbox of the EXT, then it will be called as an external. Otherwise, it will be called as an internal. That means by system automatically itself it will be takes the internal number range. If you want to make the external, you can activate this checkbox. But most of the time, all the clients are using with the internal number range, not the external. Just press enter. Just press enter. And see, it was showing some error message for me. What it was is interval already available. That means MR is already there. The number range of MR will be there. That's why it asked me to change that thing. So here, let's say the MM. Done. Save. This is what we can call as a creation of a number range for the vendor account. We have created only the vendor account. That's why one number range is enough. Even if you can take in the multiple of the vendor account group, we need to create the multiple of the number ranges also. So in the situation, whatever the number ranges which we have created, those number ranges has to be assigned for that vendor account group by using the third step, which we can call as an assign number ranges to the vendor account. Assign number ranges to the vendor account groups. For that purpose, from here, in the same thing, assign number ranges to the vendor account group. For this, the transaction code is an OBAS. OBAS. So when we are going for the OBAS from here, OBAS, let's go for this one and make the position button. The position button. And then it asking you about the account group. What is the account group which you want to maintain? I want to maintain the account group number for the vendor master is, for the vendor master itself, it was a name, something what we have created is MANR. And this vendor account group can consist of the number range. Whatever we have created the MM. That means when you are facing of an interview also, if the interview is asking that when during of the customization, what is the requirements for, what is the prerequisites for creation of a vendor master, what are the prerequisites for creation of a vendor master, then we need to say that for creation of a vendor master there was totally pre-requirements are there. One is define account group with screen out, and the second one is the create number ranges for the vendor account group, and the third one is the assign number ranges to the vendor account. Can you clearly explain about that one? In that situation, we need to say that dividing a large number of the vendor masters into separate parts is called as a vendor account group, and maintaining which of the fields are required, which of the fields are not required is called as a screen layout. And the next, how many of the vendor account groups which we have created, under that vendor account groups we need to create the number ranges for them. Those number ranges are divided into the two parts. One is the internal, second one is the external. If I choose in the internal number range, the system will automatically propose the vendor number. If I choose in the external, every time we need to propose the vendor number from the given range itself. These are the two types of the number ranges will be there. And even after completion of these two requirements, then we have to go for the assigning of the number ranges to the particular vendor account group is called as the third one. That is called as the assign number ranges to the vendor account group. For creation of a vendor master, these are the three prerequisites for there in the point of FI and as well as the MM. But including of these, when we want to go for the creation of a vendor master with the MM point of view, there is one more requirement which is called as a business partner assignment.